Hello, teachers. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. My name is Venus Claybrooks, and I work for Renew Schools. And today we're going to be talking about technology in your classroom. So this is your professional development or your entryway into integrating technology into your classroom. Okay, so this is the digital time and digital ages. As we know from COVID, we all had to go through some learning pains if we were not familiar on how to use technology and how to communicate with the kids digitally. And so we had a lot of at-home learning, at-school learning, and now what we want to do is take everything we learned there and bring it into the classroom, because now that we know that's a great way to engage kids, to engage parents, we want to bring that into the classroom so that we can also move into the future with integrating technology into the classroom. So how can technology help in education? So we're gonna focus on three main areas. So area one focus is going to be how to create more learning resources for your teachers and students. Focus area two will be communicating and messaging, particularly when it comes to parents. And our third area of focus is going to be how to reduce admin and teacher workload. And I know you guys want to hurry up and get to area focus 3. So let's move along in the presentation. Okay, so for the first couple of slides on the focus area, we're going to talk about, we're going to summarize the current reality of today. We're going to talk about the importance, of technology for our students and our student achievement, and how to connect teachers to technology integration. So first, one of the things we want to talk about in area one focus is how to create more learning resources for teachers and students. So one of the things you can do for this one is you can video record lessons for students to rewatch at their own pace and time. And we can use, there's a lot of different forms of technology that we can use for that. Some of you guys are very familiar with Google Classroom. We use that during COVID, and we also use Nearpod. So that's one way for bringing resources. One-on-one and small group interactions. Teachers feel a sense of ownership and a choice regarding how they teach. And so this technology gives teachers options on whether they want to use a technology tool like Nearpod or use some form of AI to help with teaching in the classroom. And as I just mentioned, using AI to personalize education can help students and teachers understand their needs and goals. So I just want to give you some summary of the reality today. I'm going to put on my glasses because I cannot see without my glasses. So educators can employ digital learning technologies to design individual learning opportunity for their students. Research shows that with such customization, students need 40% to 60% less time they need to learn what they would spend in a traditional classroom. Our course authorizing tools are generally equipped with templates, themes, and interactions that greatly help to reduce content development tools. Here's a case in point. It may be that the teachers want to combine parts from different digital documents to explain the concept. With some tools, they just have to enter the page numbers or the tools that will automatically correlate the information. So that makes it easier for the teacher, so they don't have to go to pencil and paper and do it by themselves, because that can be a very tedious. That could be very tedious for the teacher and take up more classroom time or class time after school, that they have to stay after school and try to get the work done. The teacher is therefore free from such tasks that can focus on interacting with the students with the correct instructional technology, teachers may reduce their workload and increase their influence on the students. Even while creating lesson plans, preparing reports, and taking attendance for duties that instructors most typically accomplish themselves, technology can help them spot trends and eliminate tedious work. So that's the current reality. Those are the importance to the teachers, and that's how technology can help teachers if they integrate it into their classroom. So slide 2, we're going to talk about the action plan. And so the action plan talks about the strategies, how to create more learning resources for teachers. So some strategies teachers can use PowerPoint. You can use gamified learning, classroom tablets, having class tablets in the classroom or individual laptops, online grading systems where parents and students can go and look at their grades, or the system can tell the student what their grade is right then and there, so they would know what their strengths are and what they need to work on. And introducing students to different learning styles. So not just paper and pencil, but introducing students how they can learn in the classroom, on a computer, and through technology integration. And some assessment tools, or how can you assess the progress. You can also do exit tickets, where before kids leave the classroom or before they move on to the next subject or activity, they have to do an exit ticket where you can check their work right then and there. You can use online assessment tools like Kahoots, Flop, or like ABC Mouse. In the timeline we want to put this in place is at least the first 4 weeks of school. So we know that the first week of doing some of these things, when you want to integrate technology, may be some growing pains, but at least by the first month of school, we should be introducing at least some of these strategies and being able to assess the students in some form or fashion. So by week 4, we should, kind of have it down packed, and if not, then you can go back to your admin and say, hey, I need some more help. And then it just should be ongoing. So it should be ongoing throughout the school year. If there's something else or another tool you would like to use in your class instead of the assigned technology from your school district, then you can do that. And this would be routine and transparent, so then you'll know that that it's working and you're doing it, and it's accessible and readily available for the task at hand. So these are the action plans to use for focus number 1. So now we're going to move on to focus number 2. Okay, so focus number 2, teachers and parents and communication. Oh, let me go back. Sorry about that. So we want to be able to communicate with our parents in more ways than just giving a phone call. We want to communicate with our parents, and sometimes it needs to be immediate. And a lot of those things come from different ways you can integrate technology in your classroom to communicate with parents. And so some of the things that you want to remember when it comes to importance, student importance, is the parent is also a part of that as well. And so you want to have good communication with your parents. And this is another way that teachers can connect this to technology in their classroom. So remember that despite appearances, families may still wish to participate in their child's education. A lot of families want to get more active and more involved in their students' learning at school, and some of that, their extracurricular activities and things like that at the school. So however, some families could encounter some obstacles, including, a hectic work schedule where they can't come to parent-teacher conferences, or they can't answer the phone between 9 and 3. And so we have to find different ways. Other families may believe that the school faces hurdles because, of their prior experiences with the schools, with maybe not being able to communicate if you have some English learners in your school. some ELL students. But with modern ed tech, teachers can effortlessly connect with parents and students using various communications tools via email or video calls. And many ed tech platforms maintain a communication with students and parents more efficient, productive, and it's timely, and it can be very satisfying. A message app is something that teachers could integrate into their classroom and be an effective tool to use to, communicate with parents more effectively. It could be practical and effective to connect with parents one-on-one or in groups, to send and receive notices, announcements, and reminders to parents by phone, email, or apps. Use platforms like Remind, Class Dojo, or Seesaw. I got that from LinkedIn. 2016. These tools can also be used to communicate with students on their work portfolios, imagings, and videos with parents while praising and encouraging their child's effort. You may establish an effective and supportive relationship with your parents by using a messaging app or service to interact with them quickly and conveniently. And one of the messaging apps that I found that I thought was cute and fun, and I thought that kids and parents together would like, is called Class Dojo. And I'm going to show you a quick video on Class Dojo, and it'll just kind of show you how it works. It's just like a 1-minute introduction to Class Dojo, so you can see how it works in your classroom.
An amazing classroom. Is it having shiny new desks? Is it that fearless classroom pet in the corner? Or maybe
Is there
it's
any way I
something
could turn
you
it?
can't see? Maybe
Turn
it's
it up.
about the classroom community you build with students, teachers, and parents. In a classroom where students all work together,
Sorry, I had a
persevere
little
through
difficulty, but
challenges,
hopefully you can hear it now.
and help each other out along the way. These moments should never go unnoticed. This year, you'll be using Class Dojo to celebrate those moments in class and share them home. You'll each start with your very own monster. And anytime you show an important skill, like working hard or being creative, your teacher can award you a point on Class Dojo. For those extra exciting moments, your teacher can take a photo or video. Best of all, your parents will get to see all the skills you're building and share in your unforgettable classroom moments. So let's get started. What skills do you want to recognize in your classroom?
So as you can see, that's a fun little app. I think the kids will love it. They get to choose their own monster, but the main goal of that is to be able to, communicate with the parents in a way where they can see their students' achievements and activities, and they can also see what's going on in the classroom. So here are some of the action plans that I came up with for parent communication. So the strategies, we start with emails are simple, and emails are trackable. And text messages, if you feel comfortable texting your parent, and classroom management software. So say for instance, like Google Classroom, Nearpod, those kind of softwares that you can use to also send messages to your parents. We also use PowerSchool and School Runner. The parents get their own profile, but they can also look and see what their kids are doing in school. They can read behavior reports. They can see what their grades are like in every class. So if they do have any questions for the teacher, they'll be able to ask the teacher, and the teacher and the parent can be on that app at the same time and looking at the same time. So that's another effective way to communicate with parents. And we also have a phone system computerized called robocall. So, and that's a mass call that goes out to all of our parents when we have some important information to give. And now we also have a system that we send by email that just tells you, the different things that are happening in school. So the assessments that you can use for this is a parent feedback survey. So you can send a survey home maybe once a quarter talk to the parents and see, how do they feel about how we communicate. Because one of the biggest complaints from parents is that they never hear from their teacher until the child is doing bad, or how come I didn't know my child was, failing this class until, I received their report card. So parent feedback, a parent survey is a great way to go. You can keep a log of the number of times that the parents, respond to you electronically. You can have it either by email or by text, and you can say, hey, all my parents email me. If I email my parents, I hear from them. If I text them, I hear from them. If I send out a robocall, half of the parents' phone numbers, said, oh, that phone doesn't work or something like that. So you can keep a log, electronic log on how many times and how many responses you get. You can also use video conferencing tools. Video conferencing tools are like Skype and like I said, you can like use tools and stuff like Skype and to see if that works better for the parent. So if that's a better way of communicating with the parents, you can assess that and say, hey, my parents rather use Skype, so we can do that. And the timeline is you want to communicate with your parents by the first week of school. Even if you just call and say, hey, my name is Miss Claybrooks. I'm Jazz's teacher. We're going to have a great year. I noticed that, Jazz has an IEP. I just wanted to talk to you about the IEP. Do you want to get on a video chat? If you can't, make it to school between the hours of 9 and 3. But by the first week, you should have some kind of communication with your parents. And in that week, you can ask the parents, what's the best way to communicate? Is it by email? Is it by text? Do we want to use some kind of software that we can video chat or something like that? And then it just should be ongoing. Like I said, parents should never just hear from a teacher when something's bad or wrong or the grade. They should be able to have a way to access student information and a way to access the teacher as well if they can't come in for an inline conference. And so we're about to wrap it up. We're on the last focus, and that is, I'm going the wrong way. So I saved this one for last. This focus area is how to reduce the workload for teachers and admin. And as you can see through the pictures, like when teachers have a lot on their plate, a lot of teachers we know wear several different hats. Some teachers are lead teachers. They teach their own classes. Sometimes the principal has to go and teach a class, and the workloads just can get overwhelming. You have teachers that lead committees and teachers that are over the Parent Teachers Society, and sometimes just having to put paper to pencil can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes this kind of stuff will stress a teacher out. And as you can see, I'm trying to be very visual here, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And so incorporating technology into your classroom, or integrating technology in your classroom, you can see the light. And then what we're doing today, and this is just a snippet of what integrating technology can do for you in a class, but you can have more professional development to understand more about what some of the programs that you think will work in your class and stuff like that. So one of the things, you can create a visual presentation of the era, including, like I just did, pictures of. So we're up here and you're kind of getting a digital scene of, what teacher workload looks like. And so, put my glasses on once again. So this is a current summary of the reality, how it's important to students, and the connection to technology in the classroom. So the result is that teachers need to be more flexible. They're annoyed by time-consuming paperwork, and they're resigning in droves. So we have a lot of teachers resigning just because some of them don't feel supported in their classwork, and some is for other reasons. And this is where artificial intelligence, or AI, can play a significant role. AI has the potential to significantly lighten the marking and administrative burden for instructors by automating question sets, marking, and predicted grades, as well as by assisting teachers, staff, in reducing their preparation for administration, and that's by SAMBA 2023. With the correct instructional technology, teachers may reduce their workload and increase their influence, even while creating lesson plans, preparing reports, and taking attendance are duties that instructors must typically accomplish themselves. Technology can help them spot trends and eliminate tedious work, and therefore thus create more time to work with students and to plan more meaningful activities for our students. So incorporating technology can lessen the workload. It can help with some digital grading, taking attendance, and then it just gives the teacher more time to, work with students one-on-one or in a group, and not have to stay after school to do more grading. We know sometimes, you have to do something like that, but AI can significantly help reduce the time teachers have to put in their work. So here are some of the strategies, the action plans for reducing teacher workload in AI. So some of the strategies are to, broadcast of online lessons and documentaries, base lesson plans on Scholar whiteboard activities, use interactive sites to provide instructions and explanations, and use conferencing apps to invite experts into your classroom. And an assessment tool that administrators can use is teacher surveys, just to see, to ask teachers, like, how can we help improve your classroom, like your classroom management, your classroom time, help reduce the workload, like how can we do that? There's some questions that admin can come up with on teacher surveys and get their feedback, and then admin feedback. And that will come probably when the admin goes around and, talk to the teachers and just give them feedback on how they think they're using the technology that they have to use, and if there's anything that they want to, bring into the classroom. So admin feedback is also important. The timeline, I think that teachers should meet with administrators bi-weekly, have bi-weekly check-ins with leadership staff, starting probably the first week of school, maybe a debrief on that Friday, just to see how everything that you're implementing, especially the technology integration into your classroom, and just see how it's going. If you're having some difficulties getting online, using your passwords, connecting to the internet or whatever, all that can be brought up in your bi-weekly meeting. And then I think it just should be ongoing, because as new technologies are introduced into the classroom and introduced to the students, I think that it just should be ongoing. There shouldn't be like an ending to it, because you can always, if something's not working, this is how you find out. But I think there should be bi-weekly check-ins with your leadership staff. So it looked like my time is up, and I want to thank you. And and I think that to have a conclusion and to summarize, I think technology into the classroom is just the way of the future. AI is the way of the future. And I know there's going to be some teachers who are reluctant to use integrated technology in the classroom. They like textbooks, they like paper to pencil, which is still okay, but this is the way of the future. And I think once you use it and you find what works for you in your classroom, in your setting with your students, I think you're going to find that integrating technology in your classroom is going to make your life easier, going to make your students' life easier, and then I think it would also create a better relationship and partnership with your students and the community and administrators. So thank you and happy teaching. And if you have any questions, you can always reach me at venusclaybrooks@renewschools.org. So happy technology integrating.